What's up, guys? Dodgers Randy here, and welcome back to yet another weekly update. With only 19 days left until pitchers and catchers report, things are finally starting to heat up around the hot stove, trades, free agencies, whatever the case may be. Things are starting to come down to it. We've got less than 3 weeks until at least the pitchers and catchers, usually position players, show up around the same time. But until our boys are at Camelback getting ready for the season. So we've got FanFest tomorrow. Super excited about that. I'm going to be doing the meet and greet with Corey Seager as well as the batting cages. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button below so that way you guys can make sure you see that tomorrow. I'm actually really excited for that. I didn't get to do a video for FanFest last year. So if you've never been able to go, want to know what it's like, I'm going to do my best to show you guys all of that tomorrow. But other than that, let's jump into this. As always, I appreciate you guys showing up here to watch this. And if you like the video, go ahead and give it that, hit a like. Let me know in the comments what you think. And let's talk some baseball. For those of you that didn't see yesterday that the Dodgers signed AJ Pollock, I did a video on that, so I'm not really going to get much into it. I will go ahead and link that for the people who haven't seen it. I'm going to put it somewhere. I haven't done this yet, so it either comes up over here, I don't know. Either way, I'll link it up there for you guys so you can check that out if you want to. Now that it's been a day, I'm actually a little bit more happier with this trade than I initially was, just based on looking at his numbers. So I think he's actually going to be pretty solid for the team if he can stay healthy. So anyways, enough about that. Did a video yesterday. Don't need to go over the same stuff. Let's jump into this week's news. There's been a lot of discussions going around lately about who the Dodgers might move, what's going on, and one of the names that's coming out is Joc Pederson. As we all know, he struggles a lot against left-handed pitching, and left-handed pitching seems to be our downfall. I think 2017 was like the only year we didn't really struggle over these last few seasons. And with such a lefty-heavy lineup, it's just, we need someone who can get in there and hit lefties, and having Joc take up a roster spot isn't the most ideal because you're not really going to play him over Bellinger. You're not going to play him over Pollock. He might get a shot he would get a shot if righties are on the mound, and he crushes righties, but he's also improved season after season, lowering his strikeout rate, just having better eye on the ball. So it might be the time for them to trade him to get the most value out. So I'm going to kind of fill you guys in on the rumors that have been kind of going around a little bit in the baseball world. This is directly from Ken Rosenthal on Twitter. He had tweeted out, the Dodgers have been discussing Pederson and possible deals, rival executives say. The Chicago White Sox are one of the clubs in those conversations, and nobody really knows, or it's not known if talks are advanced to a point where teams are close to a deal. So according to Ken Rosenthal, that was on Monday, I believe, the 20th. There are talks going on, but nothing really set, and they aren't 100% sure what they're going to do. They might not trade him. Having Pollock out there and Pollock being able to hit left-handers might allow them to keep Joc and platoon him just against righties, or platoon him so he can play against righties, sit him against lefties. But he did mention yesterday, Ken Rosenthal mentioned that per sources, the team isn't close to trading Pederson at the moment. So for right now, that might not be something you have to worry about if you're a big Joc fan. But in a moment or two, we'll go over where Joc might fit in with that trade and what we might be getting in return. And I think you might like that if the trade goes through, obviously. There was also talk by The Score. They're an app, all their sports. I got Twitter, Instagram. I follow them, or I use their app just to try to keep up to date with anything. So take this with a grain of salt because I haven't heard it mentioned anywhere else, and I haven't heard it since it came out on the 20th. Like I said, I believe that was Monday. But according to them, the Dodgers were interested in infielder, outfielder Josh Harrison. He played for the Pirates. He was actually the guy who broke up Rich Hill's no-hitter in 2017. Yeah, that wasn't last year, was it? No, it was 2017. But again, that's the only time I've heard of it. Apparently the Giants are interested in him. There's a couple teams, but maybe it was true, maybe it still is. I'm thinking though, maybe with signing Pollock, that kind of put Harrison on the back burners and they might not be interested in him anymore. So don't look into that one too much. If I hear more, I'll of course let you guys know. In regards to something I think a lot of us are waiting on is the hopeful trade for JT Realmuto from the Marlins. They're still in trade talks, and according to Joe Frisaro, he's the Marlins site reporter for MLB.com. The Dodgers remain in trade talks with the Marlins regarding Realmuto, and per multiple sources, one of the names being discussed in return is top catching prospect Keiber Ruiz. So at first they were interested in Verdugo. Now it sounds like they're interested. They're changing their interest over to Ruiz. Ruiz, we're going to get into prospect ratings in like just a couple minutes, so I'll give you a little bit more on him so you have an idea of kind of what they might be looking to trade and where his value's at. But I have a hard time wanting to trade him. He's ranked as our #1 prospect by one source and #2 by another source. And he's 20 years old. He's just a highly touted prospect. You don't find catchers like this who can hit the way he does, play the way he does. However, the Dodgers do have more options in Will Smith, and then I believe another one at the single-A level. I don't know his name, unfortunately, but I think he's pretty young. He's a few years away. Will Smith could show up sometime this season, maybe September call-ups. So it would really suck to get rid of Ruiz, but they do have the replacement if they need to. And in my opinion, if JT Realmuto wins us or helps us win a World Series, I want to win now, and I want to do that. I want to go after him. I want to make it happen. I just don't want to give up too much, and I don't think the Dodgers will do that. They're pretty good about not going overboard for players and backing out of deals if they have to. According to John Heyman, this was yesterday, he had tweeted out, Dodgers working on JT Realmuto as the players for the star catcher are coming into focus. So in my mind, I read that as that means there's finally a list of players on the table and now they have to pick. They wanted Bellinger. They know that's not going to happen. They wanted Verdugo. They've now changed their mind to Ruiz. So maybe they've come into a deal where a couple more names have already been brought up. And that's where I brought up Joc. Joc could possibly be getting sent in that trade. I would also think Barnes might be going in that one as well. Dodgers don't need 3 catchers in the system. Marlins aren't going to want Russell Martin for 1 year, and he's older. So they could end up taking Barnes, use him until Ruiz is ready to go maybe next year. And you could see those 3. You might not see Barnes or Joc. I kind of find that hard to believe, though, that if they make a move, some people think there might be a 3-team trade between the White Sox, Marlins, and Dodgers that would cause us not to lose Ruiz and still be able to get Realmuto. But none of that stuff's confirmed, so I don't actually have any real solid information for you on that. But it is something to keep a very close eye on because Realmuto could very much change this lineup and make them much more of a threat than they already are. Sorry guys about that little glitch in the video really quickly. I was having a fumbling with the pitcher's name that I'm about to tell you guys about. So I apologize if I get this wrong. If anyone knows how to say it, if you can type it out below, that'd be awesome. But the Dodgers signed 20-year-old Taiwanese pitcher Huang Sheng Lin. That was announced by Jacob Rudner on Wednesday. He's the lead expert for Dodgers Way. I don't really have much information about him except for an article that I found from Dodgers Nation. So I will link that for you guys in the description below, just so that way if you want to read up more on him, you can. I'm not going to sit here and read their article word for word and pretend I know what I'm talking about. There just unfortunately isn't enough information out there on him yet to really give you guys much. But I will say it sounds like a good signing and that they got that taken care of for a couple years from now, but he looks pretty good from what I did see. So in other news, we're almost done here, so hang with me. MLB is looking to change the 10-day DL back to 15-day and increasing the time option players may have to spend in the minor leagues. The reasoning for this, and the Dodgers could be a big cause of this happening. They're notorious for putting guys on the DL and moving guys from AAA to the bigs, back to AAA, and just nonstop doing all this kind of stuff so they can have fresh arms in the bullpen. But that's what MLB is trying to avoid. They're hoping it cuts down on relievers, and they also want it to revive the offense. So they think by not allowing a team to have the freshest reliever possible out of their system, just being shuttled back and forth between AAA and the majors, that they'll see offense will do a little bit better because you're just, like I said, you don't have a fresh arm out there every day. The proposal is given to the Players Association, and both sides must agree before implementing the new rule. Manfred does have the ability, management has the ability to push things through with the Players Association or without the Players Association agreeing, but they would have to give a 1-year notice before doing that. And it's also something I don't think Manfred wants to really go down that road because it could cause a lot of tension with the Players Association, and they're going to have to negotiate some stuff in a couple of years, I believe, for the CBA. I need to learn a little bit more about that so I can speak on that a little bit more, but it's just not something he's looking to do. He could if he wants to, but players would have to be willing to sign off on it unless he wants to take the chance of pissing everybody off, at least players. So again, there's more information on that. I'll put the link in the description for you guys so you can read up on it more if you want. And then just to kind of finish it up, Baseball America and Baseball Prospectus have both released their top 100 prospects in baseball. 5 Dodgers made it, and only 4 clubs had more prospects in the top 100. When you think about it, that's really impressive because they've been making trades over these last couple of years. As much as we think as fans that you're kind of hoarding the prospects, and they have in a sense, but that's Bellinger, that's Seager, that's Urias, that's Buehler, all guys that have either helped or have potential like Urias to help the club in the future, and why they didn't want to really let go of them. But they have traded away some pretty good prospects, and they still have 5 in there. So I'm going to give you guys a list really quick. Actually, in Baseball Prospectus, they only have 4 top 100. As for Baseball America, they have 100. So I'm going to give you the list. It's kind of interesting how they kind of, like, one has Verdugo above Ruiz, one has a certain player over another, one has a player in the middle, not even on the other list. So I'm going to tell you who those are. It's super interesting. If you get a chance, check that out. But so for Baseball America, Kyber Ruiz comes in at the number 20 out of all baseball, 20th. Super impressive. Verdugo comes in at 35. Gavin Lux, who is a shortstop, second baseman in, I believe, Tulsa right now. He comes in at number 40. Dustin May, right-handed pitcher. I believe he might be with I think he's with the Quakes now. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's a big one that you hear a lot about. A lot of fans want to see him up there. His stuff, I haven't seen him pitch, but from what I've heard, his stuff's really good, and he's just an exciting pitcher to keep an eye on. And then coming in at 95 is Will Smith. Will Smith was who I was saying has the potential to take over. If they do decide to get Realmuto and give over Ruiz, Will Smith will probably become our long-term catcher for the time being until the younger guy in the system, who I think is actually possibly going to be better than Will Smith, just based off things I've read, even though I can't remember his name, sorry. But Will Smith still has a chance to get in there, and he's in the top 100, which is very impressive. As for Baseball Prospectus, they actually do a top 101, and this is where the difference comes in. They have Verdugo at 19, where, and that's the highest, where they have Ruiz at 20 for Baseball America, and then they have Dustin May ahead of Ruiz for Baseball Prospectus at 27, and then they have Ruiz coming in at 31 and Will Smith coming in at 59. So for Baseball Prospectus, they do have the guys ranked up higher than they do on Baseball America. I don't know when it comes down to these things, like whose list you trust more, which one's more reliable, who knows their stuff better. I think it's kind of weird that there's like multiple lists and they all come out with different ones. Even MLB is going to come out with a different list, and they're going to release their top 100 prospect list on Sunday. And then we'll see where the Dodger players, minor league players, come in on there, and it'll be interesting too. But just to give you kind of a couple quick notes, and then we'll be done with this. Verdugo was rated as the number 7 outfield prospect in baseball by MLB.com for this year. So that's exciting. I know when you hear 7, you think well, maybe some people will think, well, that's not all that impressive, but it is, because there's a lot of outfielders, there's a lot of prospects, and the fact that you can be that high up is always kind of a very good thing when you're a fan to see, and hope that it translates into the big leagues. Hopefully we're going to see Verdugo get plenty of time this season, and he can finally have the chance to prove why he's been such a top prospect and such a big deal over the last few years. It's finally time, I think, with them getting rid of Puig. It's time for him to have his shot, so I'm excited. Hope he stays with the team, doesn't get traded, and we'll get to watch him. As for Gavin Lux, he was actually rated by MLB.com as baseball's number 9 shortstop prospect for 2017 or 2019. Whoa. Again, super impressive. When Lux first came in, I believe, into single A and double A, I think he struggled a little bit. I know when he came into double A, he did, and then he completely turned it around and tore it up. I want to say he made the all-star team, but that could have been a different affiliate he was with, as in single A versus double A. But he's a really good one to keep an eye on. I kind of think, as long as Seager's arm holds up, I kind of feel like we might see Gavin Lux become our second baseman. Probably not till at the earliest 2020. He's still really young. I think he was like a 2016 or 17 pick. So he's still really young, but he's out in Tulsa right now. I guarantee we'll see him at spring training. Last year, they brought him into spring training a little bit later into the program, which was interesting. Didn't really think we'd see him, but he came in a little bit later, and I'm sure he's going to be there from day one this year. And then as for Will Smith, like we talked about, he was actually ranked by MLB.com as the top defensive prospect in the Dodger organization for 2019. That's super impressive, especially when you come off what we just dealt with Grandal and all the pass balls and drop balls, and how many times I think a lot of us would have just rathered Grandal been a defensive wall behind the plate instead of being offensively great and not defensively great, outside of being, of course, one of the best framers, if not the best framer in baseball. So Will Smith is an exciting prospect to watch too. I've always been of the side of, if my catcher works well with the pitchers and does his job and is a wall behind the plate, I don't really care about their offensive production. Will Smith can produce offensively. His numbers aren't projected to be as good as Ruiz's, but when you're a top defensive prospect in the organization, I think that says a lot for itself right there. But other than that, that's it for this week. We got FanFest tomorrow. If you guys see me out there, let me know. Would love to say hi. Hope you guys get to go. Let me know what you guys are doing down below. If you got any autograph vouchers, VIP, anything you're doing like that and excited for at FanFest. And I will catch you guys tomorrow, I guess. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And let's just keep holding out hope that we get Realmuto if you want him. If you don't, just keep doing what you're doing and hope this team's good enough as it is. I think they're going to be one hell of a team either way, but I would love to see Realmuto in there. Hopefully that's the next thing I have to tell you guys. But other than that, like I said, have a good rest of your night, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys.